What if I told you that the real secret to hitting your weight goals, it's not actually on your plate, it's in your glass. Today, we're going to rethink everything you drink because it just might be the most overlooked key to managing your weight. Let's get into it. We all know this feeling, right? You know the one. That little pang in your stomach that just, like, magnetically pulls you to the fridge. It's an almost automatic response to a signal our body sends us multiple times a day. But what if that's not actually hunger? What if your body is kind of playing a trick on you? What if that hunger is really just a disguise for something else entirely? That's the powerful connection we're uncovering today. The surprising link between what you drink and what you eat. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with something I call the thirst trap and find out why our brains get so confused. Then we'll get into the awesome power of water and build a super simple daily plan. After that, we'll expose those sneaky drinks that are sabotaging you, and finally, wrap it all up with some smart swaps you can use like today. Okay, so let's dig into the why. It all starts in a tiny, tiny part of your brain called the hypothalamus. Now, this little guy is in charge of both your appetite and your thirst. And, sometimes it just gets its wires crossed. And that's what we call the dehydration disguise. It's a real thing. Because the same part of your brain is juggling both jobs, when you're even a little bit dehydrated, it can totally send out the wrong signal, a hunger signal. And what happens? We reach for a snack when our body was actually just screaming for a glass of water. All right, so if our brain is getting it wrong, what's the fix? Well, it's actually pretty simple. We give it what it really needs. And that brings us to the undisputed most valuable player of this whole game, water. I mean, just let this sink in for a second. Over 2/3, a whopping 66% of your entire body is just water. It's not just something we drink, it's literally what we're made of. This is why staying hydrated isn't just some nice to have, it's the foundation of your health, especially when we're talking about weight. It's absolutely fundamental, so we really need to shift our thinking here. Water isn't just about quenching thirst, it's one of the most powerful tools you have for controlling your weight. So, how does it pull this off? Well, for starters, when you're properly hydrated, it helps your body flush out all that gunk and toxins, which just makes you feel better, right? And of course, it has 0 calories. I mean, you can't beat that. But here's the real kicker for weight management. Drinking water actually fills up your stomach. That sends a signal to your brain that says, hey, we're full, which can seriously help you eat less. Okay, so we've established that water is the hero of our story. But knowing that is one thing. How do we actually make drinking enough of it a real, simple, everyday habit? Let's build a plan. You've heard it a million times, right? The whole 8 glasses a day rule. Well, it turns out it's not just some old myth. It's really the gold standard you should be aiming for. And yeah, I know it can sound like a lot, but stick with me. We're going to break down exactly how to make it happen. Here is your super simple 4-step routine. You ready? Step 1, chug a glass of water the second you wake up. It rehydrates you and kickstarts your metabolism. Step 2, drink a full glass before every single meal. This is huge for curbing your appetite. Step 3, sip another glass during your meal to help with digestion. And step 4, and this one is a total game changer. Get yourself a big old water jug for the day. When you can actually see your goal right there in front of you, it makes hitting it so much easier. All right, let's flip the script a little bit. We've talked about the hero, water. Now it's time to unmask the villains, those sneaky drinks that can totally wreck your progress without you even realizing it. I mean, just look at these two. On one side, you've got what looks like a super healthy fruit juice. On the other, a fancy cocktail. They seem worlds apart, don't they? But they share a secret, and it's not a good one. They are both loaded with hidden sugar, sometimes as much as a can of soda. Seriously. So let's call out the usual suspects, shall we? Soda is the obvious one, of course, but listen, even the diet versions can mess with your metabolism thanks to those artificial sweeteners. Fruit juice? Once you strip out all the fiber, it's basically just sugar water. You're way better off just eating the actual fruit. And then you've got your sweetened coffees and teas, and of course, beer and those sugary cocktails, all just packed what we call empty calories. They give you nothing back. And if you're wondering just how bad it can be, think about this. That daily coffee you have with a little cream and 2 sugars, calorie-wise, it's pretty much the same as eating a slice of chocolate cake. Now let that sink in. What if you're having 2 or 3 of those a day? Yeah, it adds up fast. Okay, enough doom and gloom. Look, the goal here is not to deprive yourself of everything you love. It's just about making smarter choices. So let's wrap this up with some simple, positive swaps you can start making right away. This is super straightforward. Instead of a sugary sweet wine, go for a dry one. Most of that sugar has been fermented away. Swapping that creamy, sweet coffee for a black coffee is a huge win. Or even better, try a metabolism-boosting green tea. And the easiest one of all, just switch from soda to water. It's a no-brainer. And I really want to be clear about this. Making smarter choices does not mean your life has to be boring. It's about being mindful, and you might even discover some new drinks you love that also happen to line up with your health goals. Take green tea. This stuff isn't just some new trend. It's been used as medicine in China for over 4,000 years to help with digestion and just general health. I mean, that's a pretty amazing track record, right? And one last thing about alcohol I really want you to remember. It's not just about the calories in the drink. We all know what happens after a few drinks, you get the munchies. Your willpower goes out the window, and you're not going to be making rational decisions about your diet. It's a total double whammy. So here we are, the power to really change your results. It's literally in your hands every single time you pick up a glass. So with all that in mind, I'm going to leave you with one final question to think about. What's the first smart sip you're going to take today?